distinction must be made clear between free will and choice. Every single decision that we make in life, if we look at what is operating behind our actions, there is no singular force in a position of authority. This is the meaning of shunya, the total lack of independence. So with every action, just take a bird's eye perspective and see how many forces are involved. The sun, the moon, the galaxy, the laws of physics, your own body, your own psychology, the memories you have collected through life, which are so much determined by the conditioning of your culture and society. None of this was within your control. And yet, all these forces merge and combine together to bring forth a single action. So actually, with every decision that we make, it's a cosmic collaboration from the whole universe. You see what I mean? There is choice, but to assert that there is free will suggests that there is an ego substance that can assume copyright or possessiveness over one's actions. And that's the mistake in the belief in free will. But there is most definitely choice. For instance, if a fire can burn without there being an agent, there is no god of fire that's unleashing this fire. The fire can exist while at the same time being totally empty, without any permanent center of being. In the same way, you can suffer without there being a sufferer. You can think without there being a thinker. You can feel without there being a feeler. You can be conscious without there being a fixed observer in you that is conscious. So, if this is really understood, then it's going to cut down this belief in free will right from its very roots. It's again another belief that stems from the basic illusion of self. But when I say you're the master, of course I have to use pronouns. I, you, he, she. This is the limitations of the English language or any language. We have to use dualistic language, which is always inadequate. It is always going to be paralyzed to truly capture the full nature of reality. For this reason in Zen, they've always said, whatever can be said about the nature of truth, it's just like a finger pointing to the moon. One cannot mistake the finger for the moon itself. So, even though there is no free will, nevertheless, at the end of the day, we must behave as if we have free will. We can't have this fatalistic attitude that, oh, there's no free will, therefore let my fate in this life be determined by some god that's sitting in the sky. Or perhaps the heap of karma that I have inherited through this life and perhaps many lives. This is failing to assume complete responsibility for one's own well-being. And to me, there's a much deeper meaning to the word responsibility. It's when you're truly consciously responding to life, then there's true responsibility. We need to understand the distinction between reaction and response. Reaction is the work of a machine. Machines react. Animals also react. They are not machines, but they are, in a sense, organic machines, not mechanical machines. But they don't have that extra quality of self-reflection, which would enable one to rise in awareness above one's compulsive reactions. So in any moment of experience, we see there are three distinct processes that are involved. One is stimulus. The eyes see, the ears hear, the heart feels, the nose smells, or thought, something triggers your thought processes to emerge into the surface. But there's some stimulus, electrical signals being transmitted through the body, relayed to the brain, And then, within the level of the mind, there is a reaction of some kind. This reaction is entirely beyond our control. All of us react. Buddhas also react, but they go a step further. With the reaction, there's a third step, which is how do you respond to the reaction? So now you have a choice. Any single moment, you have two choices. One is you can continue to be a slave to your programming, operating according to the prejudices of what is liked, what is disliked, and allow the cycle to repeat itself 1,000,000 times. Or you can become an alchemist, elevating the present moment and transforming it into a conscious process, not wasting your energy on unconscious compulsion. This is elevating the present moment to a higher purpose, and that can be done anywhere at any time. The spiritual path doesn't have to be isolated from the ordinariness of our moment-to-moment experience. In fact, it requires a great ego to create this segregation between my so-called spiritual life and my so-called worldly life. For the refined understanding, the two are synonymous.